So, welcome back to Devon Koi Pond. Today we're doing an update on the veg filter. It's been planted now for about a month, 4 weeks, month. I think it was about the 10th or the 11th of last month I planted it out with what I've got in here, and I'll pan the camera down so you can see what's going on, what's growing and what's not growing. So as you can see, the watercress is really going nuts. It's growing great guns. It's spreading right out across the pond here, munching away on the nitrates. After my pond test this morning, I had a reading of 0 virtually on the ammonia, virtually 0 on the nitrite and the nitrate. So this is what's eating the nitrate. It's growing great guns. Also, the monkey face is doing very well over here. That's spreading out. The lilies are coming up. The only thing that doesn't seem to be doing very well here at the moment is the water forget-me-nots. They've gone very yellow, and I've lost the water lettuce as well. They were a bit too small, those plants, and it was a bit too early to start them. They've died off. The water mints still looking quite happy. It's not died, but it's not grown much either. The water soldier is got a little baby springing out of him everywhere. And he's a great size. I think the watercress is going to be the winner. Right, as I've said before, I've grown veg filters before in the past. My last large veg filter was bulrushes. I had a bulrush bed. It was about half the size of this tank. Same length, just narrower, half the width. And in that I was growing a bed of bulrushes, and that took care of all the nitrates. I had a couple of trays on the way down through when I started it off. In those I had watercress back when I started the pond off down the bottom of the garden to take care of the nitrates. Now, I haven't grown it since then because I had the bulrushes. But this stuff now is doing a handsome job. 0 nitrates, and that's what you need. The grass, it's springing a bit, but again, it's not going to do much for it. Right, on the watercress, what we'll find is you can pick out the smallest of branches off of it. Let's find a good one here. That's a nice big one. Picture one out. Right. What we got here is, you can see the little shoots come out where the leaves come up. Now this will spread. All you have to do with a piece of this is pop it in on top of the water. It'll float around, the stalks float on the top. The leaves, if you've never eaten it in a salad, it's lovely stuff. Now this came from Tesco's to start with, a few starter pieces in a packet, and it's just taken off from there. That now, if I pop that back in the water, just there like that, that will carry on growing. As you can see, I've got a huge pot of it here now, and it's going to take over the veg filter. I think I'm going to struggle with the rest of the plants, surely because this is just going to fill the veg filter up. I don't want it to overpower my lilies, and I don't really want it to overpower the Nimbus monkey face. I want that to grow up because it looks pretty with its yellow flowers on. There's not a lot else to report this month on that. I've had a slight change inside the vortex with the answer. I'll show you in a second. Fish are all very happy. If you do try to grow this, pick it up from a supermarket. Sometimes it will grow, sometimes it won't. If it doesn't grow within 2 or 3 days, start sprouting little roots out under the stalks and get some more from a different place. Don't be tempted to pick it in the wild and bring it home, because there's a couple of nasty little diseases you can get with it, liver fluke being one of them you can pick up. Also, if you're near a water course that's possibly got fluke in it, that can get into snails. The snails can leave the water course, get to your veg filter, get into it, and can get into this, and then you can end up with liver fluke, which I wouldn't imagine is very nice. Right, I'll spin you around and lift the lid up on the vortex so you can see what I've quickly done in there this month. Somebody sent me a note with an old PDF file on the Evolution Nexus answer, and apparently right from the start I kind of had it set up wrong. Now, here where it comes into the pod, where it comes in, I had the water swirling around. Now, according to the Evolution Aqua, when they sold these on the paperwork, they recommended putting a pipe in and bringing the water up vertically next to the answer, about halfway up. That stopped the swirl of water around, which apparently continually moved the pieces around, which I can see the reason to. This now, the water is rising up the pipe, and therefore it's falling down, so all the bits that get blown away by the sweeping arm should in theory just fall back down to the bottom. Now, they said in the paperwork that this accounted for about 40% of its properties, how well it was working. So we'll give it a go for a day or two like that. It's been like it now for about a day, and see if it actually increases the time that I can go on the easy pod without giving it a clean. The blanket weed's reasonably well cleared up, but I've still got a little bit of it in the pond. I used the pink crystals, and apparently sometimes you've got to treat 3 or 4 times. I've had 2 treatments, but we'll take it with the 2 at the moment. I'll give it another week and see what happens. Hopefully it dies back a bit more. So here's the bulk of the veg filter now. Turning over. That is a lot of watercress, and we've had several salads out of it this week. It's very healthy for you. It's one of the most vitamin rich plants there is. Very good for you. It's also supposed to have quite a few medicinal things. I think it's pretty good for you if you've got bad chest and that kind of thing. If you suffer from asthma, I think it's supposed to be good for you. Right. So I've got things to do here, so we're carrying on. We're on a bank holiday weekend, so I've got loads to do in the garden. I've been power washing off the paths, so nothing exciting with the pond, but we'll carry on with that now. So this is the update on the veg filter, and it's cracking. Right, catch you all next time for another update.